All right, guys, today we're going to talk about the difference between an Olympic weightlifting style deadlift compared to a powerlifting sumo style deadlift, why each one is important to your repertoire, and exactly how to do it, and the different muscles that each one will target. First, we will talk about the sumo style powerlifting deadlift. In this style of deadlift, the athlete's going to take a wider stance outside their shoulder width. He's going to reach down and measure that grip a little bit more narrow than what a clean grip would be. He's going to set his grip with what's called a reverse grip, where one hand is over and one hand is under. The athlete's going to set his back nice and tight in a flat manner, and he's going to use his back and hamstrings to lift the weight vertically up. It'll be a lot easier to see from a side angle here. Again, he uses his hamstrings and lower back to lift the weight up. And what I want you to notice here is, as he comes off the floor, I want you to notice what his back angle is right here and what the angle of his legs are, right? So this will come into play when we show the other style of deadlift. So what I'm trying to show here is, in this style of deadlift, it uses a lot more hamstrings pulling back here as the back is becoming vertical, right? So you need super strong hamstrings to hold the body in place while the back lifts up the weight, and as the legs eventually come to fully erect, right? Inversely, we have what's called an Olympic style weightlifting deadlift. Here the athlete's going to bring their feet into more of a hip width stance, which would be the same stance you would take for a clean, and they're going to use a regular clean grip or an overhand grip with the bar, right? The athlete's going to set his back as he normally would for a clean. So watch the difference here. Here is where the weight becomes off the ground, and if you notice the difference in his angle of his legs here, he's got a less of an angle here, and his back is similar. But the main difference is the legs, because in Olympic style weightlifting, if you notice, he uses his legs to come off the ground until he gets to about the knee level. So if you notice, his back angle stays the same all the way till the bar gets to his knees. Then as the bar passes his knees, he uses more of the hamstrings and lower back to stand erect. So in the Olympic style, uses more of the quadriceps and the full leg to get the weight moving off the ground, and then the hamstrings come into play a little bit later along with the back. So why is each one important? So if you need to build stronger hamstrings and a stronger lower back, you might want to consider adding in some more powerlifting sumo style deadlift, right? Because they intently focus on those muscle fibers a lot more. But if your problem is not necessarily weak hamstrings, but just coming off the floor a little bit slower, it might be because maybe an imbalance. Maybe you have too strong of hamstrings and not enough quadricep development. And so therefore, using the Olympic style deadlift, which we see here, which uses more quadriceps to begin and then hamstrings to finish, right? What's more applicable to a clean? Well, you could argue both. Because again, if you need more hamstring work, then the sumo could help you out there. But for a direct application to the clean grip deadlift, as shown here, is much more advantageous. But key note here, if you notice, he's not deadlifting and allowing his back to round over, right? If his back rounds over, we're no longer teaching the correct positions that we're trying to reinforce for the clean, right? So ideally, you want to be able to perform the deadlift with still great technique and decent speed coming off the ground without allowing the positions to come out of play. Some other key positions that could come out of play is you might be shooting your butt up, or you might be, again, rounding your back over.